Hi, and welcome to Northwest Career and College Connections. I'm Ashley DeLatour, Operations Manager at Futures Northwest. And today we're going to be talking about an awesome resource called RaiseMe. And I have two guests with me today. I have Erin Neisinger and Frank Castro Summerlin. And they're going to talk with me about this platform. And Erin and I are going to ask Frank questions. And to kick us off, Erin and Frank, can you just give us a brief introduction about your story and kind of how you came to be here in this interview right now?
Sure. Well, as Ashley said, I'm Erin Neisinger. I'm Gear Up Coordinator at Squalicum High School, and I serve the class of 2023, so 10th graders. I started with them at 7th grade, and I follow them all the way through high school graduation, and then 1 year after that. A little bit about my story is I started off wanting to be like a huge soccer star, and that was my dream and my goal and my passion. And then I ended up getting injured, and so but I still had a love for sports. So I ended up going to university and got a degree in exercise science and did a whole different career before I did this one. Worked for corporate America on wellness programs and stuff like that, and then went and started working with students and kids more and knew that was my love and my passion. So I went back and got my school counseling degree. And from there, I worked in Alaska for 9 years. I worked in small little towns, little villages, learned how to fly an airplane and do some four-wheeling while I was at it. Worked at a big comprehensive high school for a bit, moved back down to Washington to be close to my family, and landed this job at Gear Up.
Awesome. Frank, can you give us a little bit of your story?
Yeah, sure. So as Ashley said, my name is Frank Castro Summerlin. I work here at RaiseMe. I'm what we call a district's partnership manager, and really that's a fancy way of saying that I work with high school teachers and counselors and district administrators to help students actually understand how to use RaiseMe. And a little bit of background about me. I'm originally from Mississippi, of all places. So if you've ever read about Mississippi in the history books, you know that it's a difficult place. It's also a very special place to me because there's so much history there in the South. I moved to Oregon when I was 19 years old. And then, so I've got a little bit of experience in the Pacific Northwest. And I moved down to California and started after I graduated college. I went to college in Mississippi, so I did a lot of moving back and forth. And then I moved down to California from Oregon like 7 years ago. And I started working in nonprofits. And so what that meant is I was working in college access organizations. So similar to Gear Up, but those organizations were different here in California, of course. And I did that for 5 or 6 years before getting a job here at RaiseMe. And one of the things that was, I think, the most gratifying for me is helping young people, other first-generation students of color, like I was myself, get to and through college. I had the incredible opportunity to be able to work with students starting in 10th grade all the way until when they got into college. And I've kept in contact with those students, and most of those students will be graduating next year. So I'm really excited to be talking to all of you today and sharing more about RaiseMe.
I appreciate both of you sharing your stories with us and giving us, a little peek into how you got to where you are now. Thank you. So to start us off, Frank, I think it would be really helpful for you to give us a brief overview of RaiseMe and why students would want to sign up for it.
Sure. So what I'll do is I'll do the brief overview first, and then I'll go ahead and we'll jump in and show all of you what it actually looks like to use RaiseMe. But first of all, you can think of RaiseMe as a free college readiness tool for all of you to start earning micro scholarships. And you can think of, when I say the word micro scholarships, you can think of small bite-sized amounts of scholarship dollars or financial aid that add up over time, starting as early as 9th grade. And so ultimately what that means is you can earn money for going to college right now if you're a 9th grade student or 10th grade student or 11th or 12th grade student. And by the time you're a senior and you apply to college, the amount of money that you've earned on RaiseMe over the 4 years that you've spent in high school will be a guaranteed minimum of merit-based dollars that you could get for the schools that you're applying to if they're partnered with RaiseMe. And I want to say that again, guaranteed minimum. So you can get more, but you're guaranteed to get what you've earned. And the really cool thing about RaiseMe is the money that you do earn, it doesn't affect your ESC or your Pell Grant. So if you're a student who's eligible to get state-based aid or federal aid, that money will be on top of all the money that you've earned on RaiseMe too. So I think what I'll do right now is go ahead and hop into the portal and show all of you what it looks like to actually use RaiseMe.
Perfect.
So if you're a student and you're wanting to earn micro scholarships towards college, you just go to www.raise.me and you can click on sign up as a student. So you're going to click on I'm a student. And then the sign up process is really easy and really fast. You just click on I'm a high school student. We're going to ask you some questions. It's really helpful for you to answer all of those questions because it gives us important information about you as a student, which helps us understand what kind of micro scholarships you're eligible to earn. But I already have an account. I'm cheating right now. I'm going really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and just log in. And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because I'm going to leave it to Ashley and Erin to work with all of you individually and to really show you all the features. So today we're just going to look at it real quick. This is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's student portfolio. He's a senior in high school right now. And so he'll be graduating in fall of next year, spring of next year. And you can see that this is his portfolio. He can put in all of his grades, and you can see that he's got lots of classes that he's taken. He can put in all of his extracurricular activities. The schools that you see that he's following are over here on the right-hand side. So you can see all of the different schools that he's following right now. So if you haven't yet started creating a college list, this is a great opportunity for you to start creating that college list. And that's over here on the right. And you can see in the green, that's the amount of money that Dwayne has earned for all of his accomplishments that he's put into his portfolio. And so again, those accomplishments are all of these different grades that he's put in. And so that's one of the really cool things about RaiseMe is we're not awarding money for scholarships for these, like you're not going to be a senior in high school and competing against thousands of other students for one scholarship. You actually can get multiple scholarships based on the things that you've already done in high school. There's no application process. You just put in your grades and you see what you're eligible to earn right away. There's also this scholarships tab, which shows you all the different things you could be earning for. And so it's just taking a second to load here. I'll just hit refresh and see what happens.
So while that's loading, what would you say is the benefit for like a 9th or a 10th grade student to get on this platform and start using it? Because I know a lot of my students are like, oh, I'm a 9th, 10th grader. I don't need to worry about that right now.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest benefits of using RaiseMe for 9th and 10th grade students is it sounds cliche because you hear this from adults all the time, but getting started early really matters. And I think a lot of times the reason why, like, I wasn't thinking about college in 9th and 10th grade. And I think one of the reasons why I wasn't thinking about it is because I didn't think colleges cared what I was doing in 9th and 10th grade. But as you can see on our portfolio page, you can go all the way down to 9th grade for your grades, and you can earn micro scholarships for those things. And so what RaiseMe does is it kind of, gets rid of this, this myth that colleges don't really care about what 9th and 10th graders are doing. And it shows students in real time that schools do care what they're doing because they can award a micro scholarship for it. And so we can just show you really quick. Give me a 9th grade class that a student would take.
Biology.
I have biology here already, but we'll type in biology anyway. It's okay. So I'm going to type in biology. Obviously, this isn't factual, but so if I type in biology and I add my grades. So I took AP biology and I got an A in the class. And let's say that I got a B on my second semester and I hit save. See up in the upper right-hand corner, I was just awarded a micro scholarship in real time. And so what we're doing is we're shortening the feedback loop for students and letting them know in real time that the things that they're doing and accomplishing in high school matter today, not tomorrow, not 2 years from now, but today.
So what you're saying, this is actual money. Like if they applied for college right now, this is money that they would be receiving.
Yep, if they were a senior in high school right now and they were applying for school, yes, this would be money that would show up on their financial aid package. So the other features that I kind of want to jump through really quick are, now it's loading again. It doesn't always operate this slowly. I think maybe something's wrong with my computer. I have 10,000 tabs open. But okay, so these are all the different things that you can earn micro scholarships for. So you can see that it's like joining a club in high school, doing the yearbook, These are like things that looks like things that we've added newly. These are things that have been around ever since RaiseMe started, pretty much. And you can see that there's lots of different things that you can earn micro scholarships for. And again, Erin and Ashley will show you these things more in detail. I'm just kind of going quickly today. But this is the colleges tab. So if you're curious about which schools we're partnered with, and what that means is which schools you can earn a micro scholarship for, you can just go over here on the colleges tab, and you can see that there's 2,300 schools. We're not partnered with all of those schools. We're partnered with the ones that have this little blue dollar sign next to it. So you just click on that, and you can see all the different schools that you could be earning from across the country. There should be around 315. There's 232 for this particular student. So if you're a student in Washington, you may see a different list than this student is seeing, because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's portfolio is headquartered in Detroit, Michigan. Not headquartered, but that's where he has his address as. And then you can see there's all kinds of features that you can check out here on the left-hand side. One of the features that I know that Ashley really likes is this graduation rate feature. So if you're looking for a school that has a high graduation rate, and what that means is a student who is starting as a freshman has X percentage chance of graduating in 4 years. You can adjust this rate right here. So the schools that you'll see here are schools that have a 63% graduation rate. So, and I'll point this out as a first-gen student of color myself. Having a school that has a high graduation rate is really important, because it means that school has good resources in place to support you as a student when you're on campus.
Yeah.
So I know I moved through that really fast. Was there any other features that either Ashley or Erin you wanted to point out or wanted me to talk about?
Erin, did you want to go first?
I think you kind of really, you already kind of touched on the things that I love about this platform. The biggest thing that I love about this platform, because I'm working with 10th graders currently, is that that you get a sense of where you're at early on. And so going back to like putting in your courses and putting in what your grades are, it also gives you a great snapshot in terms of maybe you're like, oh, I actually want to get involved in more activities. What does that mean for me? You can kind of use it in that way. So maybe a little bit more about that, Frank. I saw on your Dwayne "The Rock." Did I say him right? Oh, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more about, like, in my 10th grade brain, like how else I would use this particular thing. Like, maybe I'm not a student who takes a lot of AP classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have to take an AP class to earn a micro scholarship. You can take a regular course. You'll see here that the classes, I want to say the ones that have little blue signs next to them, those are what we call core classes, and you're going to earn micro scholarships for all the classes that you put into RaiseMe, but especially those core classes. So math, science, English, history. The other things that you can earn micro scholarships for, you can see here that Dwayne was really active in track and field and football. So that's actually factual. You know, he was a football player before he became a wrestler and before he became a movie star. And so you can earn micro scholarships for all of those things. A couple other things I think are really important.
Yeah.
You can earn micro scholarships for, so if you're a student who's active in a CBO or a college access organization, kind of what I talked about earlier, where I got my roots in education, you can also put those things here. And it's way easier as a young person to start tracking those things in 9th grade versus trying to be a senior and remember, oh my God, where did I volunteer in 9th grade for 1 hour? You know, it's going to be really hard to remember that. So if you just start putting those things here now, much easier to keep track of when you're a senior. Then also another one I think is really important is work experience. So right now we're in a really difficult time in the country and families are really struggling. And I know that lots of young people may be finding ways to work and help support their families. Well, that's something that you can also earn a micro scholarship for, and you can put your work experience in here.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
One of my other favorite features, besides the fact that you basically have an admissions counselor in your back pocket and you can really be curious about any college in the United States, regardless of whether or not they're a RaiseMe school, and get a lot of information in one spot. Like That is phenomenal to be able to look at all of these details, not have to do an extensive amount of research on different websites or getting different reviews from other places. You can really find all the important information that you need in one spot, which I love. It's working smarter, not harder. Okay, so my other favorite feature on RaiseMe is the resume button that you can click right here that Frank's going to show us. It'll print out it'll give you a PDF version of your resume built by RaiseMe for you. And I like at the top where it says like your areas of interest academically, and then it goes into your history. So not only like your academic history, but also your work experience if you have that, and any things that you might want to remember over time. Like Erin was saying earlier, it's so hard to remember like what you did, or maybe it was Frank that said like what you did in 9th grade. It's really hard to remember those things later in life. So to have them all in one place in an easy format, I think is really, really helpful. Additionally, you can use that as a tool for your high school and beyond plan, which is super awesome to have all that information in one spot so you don't have to go hunting around for it. Frank, is there anything else that you want to share with us before we go?
I think we talked about most of what was really important to me, but I do want to just, again, reiterate, I was a first generation college student myself. I didn't know how to apply to college. I graduated early, not because because I was like a genius student or something like that. I graduated early because I was emancipated at 17, which means I was responsible for my own financial future, which is a scary thing as a young person. I ended up going to community college, and I went to community college because I didn't have a senior year to think about how to apply for college and where I was going to apply to college. And so I kind of fumbled my way into community college. I did really well as a student. I was a good student in high school as well, just not like I wasn't a 4.0 plus student. And so I went to community college, and I still didn't know, how to do the transfer process either. It's kind of amazing, I think, when I look back, that I ended up graduating from college, and I work at a tech company now and all kinds of stuff. But what really would have been helpful is having something or someone that could give me a roadmap for the things that I needed to do along the way. And having a resource like RaiseMe would have been really helpful. So I think for students who are looking for at least at the very minimum of what they need to do to kind of have a roadmap for going to college, RaiseMe can be a great resource to do that. And really, to kind of give you an idea of what roadmaps could look like, you just go to whichever school you're wanting to look at. Let's see, what was one of our partners in Washington that you were mentioning earlier?
Evergreen State College.
Okay. So if I went to Evergreen State College and I wanted to know what could be my roadmap or my checklist for the things that I need to do to be a good applicant at Evergreen State, I could just go to, again, type it in at the school and then go to their scholarships tab. And this is a list of all the things that I would need to do or that I could do to be a great college applicant to Evergreen State College. And you can see here, there's tons of things that Dwayne has done already, but there are a ton of other things that he hasn't done yet. He hasn't attended a college fair. He hasn't visited a campus. And I know those things are hard to do right now, but you can still do some of those things virtually. So I think a tool like RaiseMe when I was younger would have been really helpful. That's the last thing I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And are there any final thoughts for you too, Erin, as we wrap up?
Yeah, I think just to really emphasize with you all, and you've heard me say this so many times, but there's no right way to do this thing we call life. So there's a lot of different avenues and a lot of different pathways to getting to the things that you want to do after high school. I think for me, it's important to know that you guys want to help you guys have the knowledge and skills to do whatever it is you set out to do. And RaiseMe is just another tool for those of you looking at higher education, college opportunities. It works. It's also another tool to help you kind of complete that high school and beyond plan that we talked to you guys about, and is a requirement for you all to graduate from high school. So this is another place to just have all that information. And just to reiterate what Frank said, it's nice to have some kind of roadmap and some extra support into navigating all these different things. So yeah, that's what I want to say.
Thank you. And I will reiterate what Frank said as well, that like Erin and I are here to help you all navigate these systems and to help you get to where you want to go. And like Erin just said, there's no one size fits all. So exploring your options is really important to see what's out there. And this is a really great tool to do that. Thank you both so much today for joining us and for sharing your stories and what you love about RaiseMe. Students, if you want easy links for where to find out all this great information, you can either check out our website at FuturesNW.org, where we have RaiseMe listed. I will also include this information in the show notes. And Erin will also be doing a follow-up with students that she's working with. We're going to get you all connected. We just appreciate you all for watching, and be safe, be well, and we'll see you next time on Northwest Career and College Connections. Bye.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Ashley.
Take care.